Well, I've used Google Earth and I've used the Add Path tool to add a path to a Google Earth image, and that's what you see here in red, overlaying a site. I've then gone File and Save Places As, and this dialog box comes up. I've set my files of type to KML, and I've saved a file called doc01kml, and I'll save it. And now it's time to close Google Earth and move to a web resource, gpsvisualizer.com, and I've just gone to that web address. Up pops this page, and I'll choose the file that we just downloaded and saved, that doc1kml, and we're going to turn it into quite a common format for GPS equipment, a GPX file, and we'll pick Convert It, and the online software here will go away. It's now massaged that data and turned it into a GPX, and I'll now like to download and save it, and I'll do that now, and I'll put it in that same contour testing folder. So there we are, we have our GPX file. Well, the next step is to take that GPX file and make sure we've got it in the format for contour mapping. So we want X, Y and a depth value, and so we're outputting now plain text, and we need to set some defaults here. We want a comma separated file, and we do want to use the best available source to get elevation data, and so I can now say convert. So we're using another page on that GPS visualizer website, and now that you may be able to see now that data is starting to take shape. We've got the X value here, the Y value and the elevation value, and we can download that in a form that Excel can take, CSV, and we can just strip off the columns of data that we don't want. So I'll download that and pop that information again in that same folder. So we've got now a CSV file. Well, I've started Excel. I'll pick the data tab, and we want to bring in some text in the form of CSV. So we have it downloads, and there's our contour testing folder, so we can import it. So in comes the data. We'll simply load it. And I'm sure you know how to do this, but I'll just remove columns that I don't need. Column D we certainly don't need, and column D. So we're left with 3 columns of information. I'll see if we can remove the first row, and that's a little difficult here, but I think that'll come good when we save this now as CSV. So File, Save As, Contour Testing, and we'll pick files of type CSV again. There are so many options, aren't there? Here we are, and it wants a file name, so this is 3D data columns removes, just to give us OUT, and we'll save it. And we'll OK that, and I think now at this point we can select the first row and delete it. No, we can't. We may have to delete that information manually. Before we leave it, we will just try a hide and see what that gives us. So we'll hide that row, and a final save, and we're in a position now to look at that data in a contouring program. Well, I've opened that file in WordPad, and you can see we didn't strip out that opening row, So I can just do that manually and then save the file. Well, my favourite contouring program is a free utility called QuickGrid, and all we need to do is go File and input our points, our metric data points, and we'll bring in 3D data columns out and open, and there's our contour. The building at the top of the site, we've left the building out, we didn't trace around the building, and there's the 216 metre high contour to 12,208. So the grid tells us that the land is sloping and water flowing from the top of the site to the bottom is going to pool in this bottom right hand area. Well, QuickGrid has some useful tools. I can click grid and click here and decrease the resolution, and that perhaps shows us the grid a little more clearly. The final step, remembering we want to get this into gCADPlus, is to export as DXF file, and I've just been rehearsing it, so I'll overwrite QuickGrid out.dxf and we'll save it. And we're ready now to move into the gCADPlus environment. Well, here we are in gCADPlus. The Google Earth image is sitting behind here. It's on a layer called Google Earth Image. So if I now turn it off, we should see our information that's come from our terrain modelling and creating that contour, and that's sitting above an accurately drawn boundary that come from the deposit information for the site. So we're now ready to start adding to the design. So we've taken the information for the driveway and the lawned area here, and the footprint of the houses, that's been taken directly from Google Earth. So we'll have some level of accuracy, but not perfect. But at least we can now deal with the site, the flow of drainage of water from the site, and start thinking about our landscape design work. So Google Earth, in summary, can be a really interesting tool, but you do have to keep in mind its limitations. Here we've got some contours, they're reasonably accurate, and they do give us some helpful information, and we've got a site that's quite accurate, and we're able to use other tools in gCADPlus now to start embellishing the site and developing a landscape concept plan.